I have thoughts on this, and they will continue on forever.
Yeah.
But
No, I want to talk about it too. We were talking about musical theater movie adaptations behind the scenes, and we're both very into it. So
we're comparing Gerard Butler to Russell Crowe, and which one's better?
Well, I mean, one was clearly better. They're just neither of them are good.
Butler, I feel like was trying to put like his heart and soul into it. He doesn't have the voice range for the Phantom, but I felt like he was still trying to like embody that.
Also, his acting and his singing married together at least gave you the gist of what.
Yeah, exactly.
The character was supposed to be.
But Russell Crowe, he looked so awkward when he had to sing.
I know.
It was like it took away from like, you know, the threat that is Javert. And I'm like, dude, like, I mean, it threw me off. The second he opened his mouth, he's like, no, prisoner 24601. I'm like, dear God, no, shut up.
It's like, even like, at least when like Gerard Butler was singing like music of the night, like you can hear that, like, especially the high part, like that is not what he's used to. But like, he doesn't look like he's straining.
Yeah.
Either, like the acting wise and the way he's syncing up to what he probably did like in a studio booth.
Yeah.
And it sounds okay.
Like he's still putting the effort into it. Yeah. You know, he's still trying to be the Phantom when he's singing. Russell Crowe just gives up on Javert when he has to sing. Like, and those
he's just like, I have to sing now.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable singing. I am standing still as I am singing and uncomfortable with the fact that I am singing.
Like the whole, like when he comes out and sings Stars.
Oh my God, that hurt my soul. That hurt my soul.
As a kid,
that's my mom's. Is it her favorite song? No, but it's one of her favorite songs from the musical, and that is her favorite musical.
It is like one of my favorite songs in the entire show. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. And I grew up listening to the 10th anniversary Dreamcast, which is, you know, Philip Glass, who is a phenomenal singer.
Yeah.
And so when I was
never going to get better than Lea Salonga, let's admit. Like
no one's better than
role in that musical.
I'll hail Lea
Salonga. Eponine. I do like Samantha Barks. I know that you're like, no one's ever going to beat the 10th anniversary, and I respect that opinion, and I'm not arguing with it, but Samantha Barks is a really, really good Eponine, and I got to see her live.
I will agree that Samantha Barks is phenomenal. I think that she has an amazing voice, and she 100% is like, was an excellent choice for Eponine. It's just that for me, growing up with the 10th anniversary cast, that is my cast. That is who I grew up with. So to me, no one will.
I somehow missed that because my mom would play the original. She's like, just the original, because the original Fantine is her Fantine and no one else will ever measure up to her, which fair. It's true. And so, and then my mom and I saw it in person. So then we were listening a lot to the 25th anniversary album, which ironically was not the 25th concert in Albert Hall cast. It was the stage version that was running at the same time, which is what my mom and I saw.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but it was with a different cast, which is
so Nick Jonas wasn't Marius.
Yeah.
That was the funniest piece of casting I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. No. And so it was.
He was trying. He was trying.
But we were listening to the album a lot of the 25th anniversary album. Not from the concert, like I said, because it had John Owen Jones, who's an amazing actor and singer. And we actually saw him on stage as Phantom, but he had been in as he has played Javert before, but he was on the album as Jean Valjean.
Jean Valjean, yeah.
But he's done like every male character in both Les Mis and Phantom, as has like almost every big West End star. It's like, that's how you get your, like,
you're either in Les Mis or you're in Phantom.
And at some point, once you get old enough, you swap shows, and then like, I feel like that's how you prove yourself, the same way that like you're not a real Broadway star until you've been an extra in Law and Order.
Yeah.
Like in New York. It's like you're not a real West End male star until you've been in both Les Mis and Phantom.
Yeah. Well, that was the funny thing too, because oh gosh, and I'm gonna botch his name, so I apologize. But Ramin Karim,
Ramin Karimloo. I saw him as Jean Valjean.
Because he was Enjolras. He was Enjolras in the 25th anniversary concert, and then he was the Phantom, and then he was Jean Valjean. So he just like bounced back and forth.
Oh, I saw him in everything, and I'm like, see, this man can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Except when he was in Love Never Dies, but that wasn't his fault.
That's not his fault. That's Andrew Lloyd Webber's fault.
Okay. We've been talking about musical theater for 5 minutes publicly and a few minutes before that. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. The Forest Code is up on screen. I'm going to pop it in the link so people can join the Forest Room for the first sprint. And then I will quickly say hi to everyone in the chat, but not by name, because I want us to be able to get into the first sprint.
Yeah.
This is what happens when it's just the two of us and we don't like have poor Autumn like just sitting on screen being like, I love that you're chatting about this, but I can't participate.
I know. I feel so bad. Like, we just need to introduce her to more. We need to introduce her to more musicals.
I'm trying.
Sit her down and watch all the musicals.
I mean, she can watch my Broadway Baby YouTube series where I'm reviewing musicals and listen to what she likes.
So let's get the whole gist of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Madeline Monahan. I normally just go by Maddie because it's easier to say. I am a writer, actor, and cat mama. I post writing-related content, book-related content, and movie-related content, trying to do that at least twice a week. We'll see if that pattern stays. And I also post pictures of my cats and quotes
They're so cute.
Persephone novel on my Instagram. So definitely go check me out over there as well. And today,
do you want to share the title of your Hades Persephone?
Zara is really excited about this because she made me like the most amazing graphic for it. So Zara, if you would like to show it, I am giving you permission.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just a fangirl for any like Hades Persephone retelling, especially Maddie's, based on what she said. And I was like, I'm making a graphic for this.
She has been texting me nonstop, like, give me all the spoilers. And I'm like, I can't do that.
I mean, you can. You're just choosing not to, like a meanie.
To be fair, though, I've denied everybody else the spoilers. So you're not alone.
Okay. I mean, that makes me feel better, I think. Okay, so that's Maddie. My name is Zara Hoffman. Most of you, I think all of you know who I am, actually, looking at the people in the chat. But for those of you who don't know, my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm a self-published author of young adult paranormal romance and now new adult sci-fi romance, and you can buy all my books at a link down below. I make videos about musical theater, which you can probably gather based on our earlier conversation, and about my writing, and I host writing sprints at 9 a.m. on Sundays. This past week, I was hosting them at 9 a.m. every single day because I was part of the Right Mamas Creative Kickstart Camp for 2021. And starting next week, I will be live streaming on Twitch at 9 a.m. on Fridays, and then in addition to my Sundays here on YouTube. So excuse me, wow. I was like downing my tea very quickly. That's what happens. Okay. A lot of people are here. Hello, everyone. I see you all here. I appreciate you. Yes, we did.
Did you see Autumn's comment?
Yeah. My husband summoned.
Autumn, I just sent you a message, but I'll say it again. We just need to introduce you to more musicals. So
yes,
if we ever do that New York weekend where we all shimmy up to New York, we're going to drag
Broadway
musicals.
Okay, so
just know that Les Mis is like the most amazing, wonderful musical you will ever see in your life, and you will cry, and you will cheer, and you will laugh, and you'll have a great time, and you will have a whole range of emotions. You won't know what to do with them.
It's 3 hours long. It's an operetta. It's based on Victor Hugo's novel, and the 3 hours does not feel that long, and it's my mom's favorite musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't made the video about it yet.
Sorry, I just saw Autumn's comment. I don't know if that counts.
If it's Grease Live, it doesn't count. If it's the movie, you get a half point.
The movie where they're clearly 30 trying to be like 16-year-olds.
That's why I said half point.
Oh man.
But it is John Travolta, and you can't deny he is good at it. Scientology aside.
Oh, is he a Scientologist?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was just Tom Cruise's territory, but okay.
Oh, no. I'm looking at my YouTube video planner and trying to see when okay, May. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm coming out with my Les Mis video in May because that's my mom's birthday month. Also, so my mom's dad died when he was 59, but today would have been his 105th birthday.
Oh wow.
So, and he was an inventor and stuff. So I normally don't do writing prompts when I'm not doing my trees and tarot, in which case I use tarot cards for prompts. But as an optional writing prompt in honor of my grandfather, if you want to have a character invent something or you invent something for your world, like whether it be like a type of technology or something else, or medicine or type of food, because he was a food scientist as well. And he was a chemist, food scientist, and he did a lot of things. Then that will be your optional writing prompt. Aw, that makes me so happy. He wants it. Ooh, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, mine are sleeping. Well, one is behind me, and I don't actually know where the other one. Well, that makes me nervous. I don't know where the other one is. He's probably getting into something he's not supposed to be.
My dog was sleeping on my bed for like the whole hour before we went live, and then the moment we went live, she's like, "I'm out of here," and I'm like, yeah, this is so frustrating.
Yeah, that's what happens when you try to do everything in life.
Well, it's also what happens when you give the actors and singers free reign of the tempo when it's already perfect as it was written by the composer.
I don't know. I mean, Les Mis, that movie both hit where it needed to hit and then missed it completely. I don't know how it did that.
We're so excited. We went like Christmas Day with our family.
too.
We lived in like upstate New York and like aren't like some of them like are into musical theater but aren't like as into it as my mom and I are. Like, oh, it was so good, and my mom and I were like, we can't talk about it. Like, give us a night to like grieve in silence.
My older sister and I, it was so funny because it's like we were sitting next to each other in the movie theater, and it's like we would start crying, and then we'd like finally stop and we'd look at each other, and then we'd start crying again. And it's just like, what? And then we went home, and the next day we're like, you know, that really wasn't great. Why were we crying so much?
You're like, oh, maybe I was crying for a different reason.
Yeah, it was mourning that they somewhat botched my favorite musical.
Yes, a new story would count as an invention in honor of my grandfather. Stacey, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about it. Your comment makes me think you were, but in case you missed it, today would have been my grandfather's 105th birthday. And I'm going to honor him by giving a prompt of invention to people. So whether that's a character, invent something within your story, you invent something for your story, or as Ruby asked, you invent a new story. That's the prompt. Optional, of course. And with that, we're going to jump into the first sprint. In 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. that was the end of the first sprint. How did people do?
You scared me.
Sorry. I always do this, and I'm like, I don't know how to not scare people, because if I had a beeping sound, that would also scare people. Or music.
There's just no way around it. People are going to get scared.
Yeah. Because even if I had it start beeping like 5 seconds before, where it was like a 5-second countdown beeping, that first beep is still going to scare the shit out of people.
I know. So I am slowly, very slowly, chugging my way through the end of chapter 7, which is good. My only thing is that I don't know how to describe this dress that she has, and I'm like,
I'm also on chapter 7.
Hey, chapter 7 buddies. Because I wanted, I have a picture of it up on Pinterest, and I'm like, how do I like kind of describe this dress? Because it's very elegant and flowy and very detailed, and I'm like, I suck at detail.
No. Okay, think. Okay, pretend that you're not writing it for a book. Pretend that you're describing it to a friend.
There'd be a lot of ums, uhs, and likes, and then
No, but I'm saying, like, just write it out, like, with everything, or dictate it. Put yourself on mute and dictate it, and just be like, "Oh, this dress is so pretty because it has this and blank and like blah blah blah." Like, just do it. It sounds crazy.
It would look like a book written by Jeff Goldblum.
I know, but it's just that, and then you edit out the ums and the blahs and the whatever, and then you have at least something to go off of.
I'll try that.
If you're describing a prom dress or a bride. Like, obviously not your wedding dress, but if you were like describe, a fancy dress that's important to a friend. Thank you.
Yeah, I might have to do that because I don't know how else to.
Because I had in the first book of my new adult sci-fi romance, which is out now, everyone. She's forced to go on multiple dates with this guy, and he like gives her dresses for each one. And I was like, oh, I could come up with it off the top of my head, or I could have like reference photos and like actually try and describe those. Because in my young adult romance trilogy, there's kind of similar situation, not with the main guy in that book, but where my main character is also forced to go on dates. Clearly, it's a thing in my books. And I described that dress, but that I just came up with from my imagination.
Mm-hmm. Because like I know the kind of dresses I want Persephone to have, or the kind of outfits, I guess, that I want Persephone to have, like once she's in the underworld. But it's just like trying to figure out how to describe them, because they're supposed to be like very intricate and beautiful and like things that she's never seen before, never had before. So it's like
filigree is normally a good word to use when describing something like that. There's lace overlay. There's you probably want to get the word bodice in, because an intricate dress normally has more design on the bodice and the hem.
Just
my friend is a costume designer. My friend is a costume designer, and I worked in costumes for like my high school shows.
Oh my gosh, just put a list in the chat box and I'll go. Everyone knows I need help.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Mercer was working on Skyrim fanfic. Regina was telling everyone to like. I'm going to add to that and say also stretch and hydrate, and don't forget to save your work. Yes, Maddie and I are hydrating. I am behind on where I should be, but it's okay because I can chug and then be ahead of schedule. Let's see.
Stacy's making cinnamon rolls, and I am extremely jealous.
Leah came in, Miguel came in, 300, 400. Awesome. That was me like 3 weeks ago.
Yay, good job, Alice.
Halfway done with homework. Awesome. 924. Dang, lady.
Alice, you got competition now. Ruby's coming for you.
I know. I only wrote 252. 221. But also read what I wrote 2 weeks ago. Good. Double screens. Yeah. I have my two monitor. Well, one monitor, one laptop.
I tried that and then I gave up on it because I don't have the desk space for it. Someday I'll have a dual monitor, but not today.
Yeah, no, my desks are always kind of long, so I was very happy to be able to do this because it makes live streaming so much easier.
I'm just, like I said, in my own little corner, so I have like a tiny little secretary desk.
In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. By the way, that is from the 1958, might have been 1956. Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella, which came to Broadway in 2013. I told you all that I'm a Broadway obsessed person.
And if you haven't seen it, there is a version of it from the 90s. Is it from the
1997? I think it came out the year I was born.
That sounds right. 97.
No, it's either 90. It's not. Yeah, no, it's 97 because Mulan came out in 98. So, the two things.
Definitely watch that one too if you haven't, because that one
had Brandy as Cinderella. It had Whitney Houston as the Queen. It had Victor Garber as.
No. Whitney Houston was the fairy godmother. Whoopi Goldberg was the Queen.
Goldberg. Wow, I said the wrong WH. Wow. Okay, Whitney Houston was the godmother. Thank you. Obviously. Wow, that was a brain fart of epic proportions. She was also the executive producer.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah, and she pushed for Brandy to be cast.
Aw. I love Whitney Houston was always my favorite part of that movie. Like as soon as she came in, I was like, yes.
She is the best part. Oh, and Bernadette Peters, a Broadway legend, is
yes. Oh, I forgot Bernadette Peters.
And for those of you who don't know, she's the original witch in Into the Woods, which is the role that Meryl Streep played in the movie version.
That I forgot she was in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. She was in Animaniacs. If you ever saw Animaniacs, she was in she played the cat in it's not Buttons and Mindy. That's the dog and the kid. What was they had like a short where it was like a dog and a cat, and the cat would always sing, and the cat was Bernadette Peters. It was great.
Oh, I'm not going to remember the name. I know what you're talking about.
I'm going to look it up. Hold on. Oh gosh, I spelled Animaniacs wrong.
Hey, Hannah. Late is better than never. I put the next code in. I'm going to pop. Oh, no, it's already popped up on screen. Okay. I was like.
Oh, Rita and Runt. That's it. Rita and Runt.
Yeah.
Rita the cat. And Rita would always sing because it was Bernadette Peters.
Bernadette frickin' Peters.
She's great. She's great in that movie too. In Cinderella.
Did you watch the Did you watch what was it? 90th birthday Sondheim? No, there was a name for the 90th celebration, 90th birthday celebration that Playbill did through streaming for Sondheim.
I don't think I did. No.
Oh, there were so many technical difficulties. It was a comedy of errors while watching, and everyone was saying maybe next year. Because that's a line from Send in the Clowns.
Yeah.
And other people were saying a funny thing happened on the way to the live stream. And anyway, Bernadette Peters and a bunch of other people were singing songs that he had written in honor of him. I don't remember what she sang though. But then Meryl Streep and Audra McDonald and I'm blanking on Christine Baranski. And a fourth person sang Ladies Who Lunch. And it was so good. T9W22. I don't know why it's not letting you into the forest room. Ruby?
Sometimes I've discovered this. Sometimes forest is taste sensitive. So sometimes it's like you have to capitalize it or you have to put everything lowercase. I don't know why, but I've discovered that that is something that force.
Okay. I posted the link again in the chat if you want to just try clicking that, Ruby. But your app might be glitching because I keep getting a notification that I've gotten a new like achievement, and I'm like, I haven't though.
Don't you love that? Just the false hope that you.
Like, I know I haven't made it like into the top 100, top 50, or number one in the world rankings of the trees. Like those are the only achievements that are left for me to get. And Ruby, did you get in? Please let me know.
I have that song stuck in my head.
Yeah, Ruby got in. Okay, good.
Ugh, I want to go listen to Impossible now. That's what I'm going to do this next sprint. I'm just going to have Impossible playing in the background.
I was singing Once Upon a December right before the timer went off.
I love
Anastasia.
that song. I just love Anastasia.
I wanted to make my Anastasia video this last month in December, and I couldn't get my shit together. So it's gonna. I've written the script, but it's gonna come out this.
I have thoughts about that play, so I'm interested to see what you have to say about it because I both enjoyed it and found myself face palming throughout the entirety of it. So I'm like,
I liked a lot of changes they made, and there was one very big change that has repercussions that made me want to like throw tomatoes at the stage.
There's there with her tomatoes ready to go.
I'm like, I could eat them because I love tomatoes, but I'd much rather.
I will sacrifice my tomato for your poor choices.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to start. Okay. I hope everyone saved their work and took that time to stretch and hydrate. And if not, I would recommend hydrating during this sprint, but not over your keyboard. I'm just speaking from experience.
Sorry, the way you phrased that was very like Airplane, like the movie Airplane, where he says he has a drinking problem and he keeps like throwing the water like, everywhere but his mouth.
Okay, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. that was the end of the second sprint, which means we are halfway done with them. But yeah, and halfway done with the stream, so that's good.
Yay.
Even with all our musical theater chit chat.
I know. Oh, Lord.
Let me put up the new code. It's time for the space tree, which is shaped like the Death Star, which is why Maddie always picks it.
I love that tree. I also just think it looks really cool. Like, if I ever go to space and go to another planet, that's the kind of foliage I want to see. Is that is that tree? Anything else, I'm going to be disappointed.
Okay. TJX SF8 is the code. It is up on screen. I'm about to paste the link in the chat. Link is in the chat. Silver Ashley came in. Mercer finished chapter 2 also. Awesome is what I meant to say. Leo, I answered that right as the sprint ended, even though I hadn't seen your comment at that point. Reading is good, always good. 312. Just started the conclusion for my essay. Yay!
Yay!
Congratulations.
It's always a good feeling.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's okay. It's over. I want to go play Squadron. That's what I want to do with my time.
Half of these want. Who's the these? Want me to be 18? Oh, the universities you're applying. You're applying. I got it. Okay. 982, Ruby, good for you.
Holy moly.
You did. We were talking, and by talking, I mean ranting about the shortcomings of the Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera movies. The ones with music, because there is an okay movie of Les Mis that was all dialogue. And
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
And there's a TV show of Les Mis now that
is there?
And I can't remember who's in it, but it looked like a good cast that I was interested in. Sorry,
Ooh, I might have to watch that and then proceed to cry all over again because Les Mis never fails to make me sob.
I know. I started reading the book in French. I haven't read all of it because the French edition I got, it broke it into 3 volumes, and each volume is like this thick. And I'm just like, I like French and I can read it better than I can speak it, but damn, I need a break.
Hugo.
Yesterday I reread The Duke and I, which is the first Bridgerton novel, because I was like, Carol Brown shared on Instagram that they were about to read it, and I was like, wait, I read that book. And then I was like, oh, I read the whole series, and I'd forgotten that I'd read the series. And then yesterday I binge watched all of Bridgerton on Netflix. And my favorite episode is episode 4, for just because it's exciting, and also it has stuff that reminds me of Hamilton. And if you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, then you'll know what I mean once you see it.
I've only seen the previews, but my first thought when you say Hamilton and Bridgerton, just because I've seen the trailers for it, is 1780, A Winter's Ball. That's like all that comes to mind is like that.
That's actually not the reference I'm making, but I told my mom that was my favorite episode for the reason. She's like, oh, that made me so anxious. So I'm like, well, I read the book, so I knew what happened. I read all the books, even though for some reason iBooks was like, oh, you don't own the second book. I was like, I do, because that's the only way I could have read it, because I know I didn't get this from the library.
I haven't seen or read Bridgerton. I've only seen the previews for it, and I was like, this looks like Jane Austen, but if Jane Austen was trash TV.
Someone wrote a review and called it Jane Austen meets Gossip Girl, and they're not wrong. Like, as someone who's read and watched Jane Austen,
that's funny.
Enough Gossip Girl, Like I watched some of the episodes. I watched like the first season, and then I watched the final episode because everyone was bitching about it. And it turned out that I had called who Gossip Girl was at the very beginning without even having seen the whole show in its entirety. But yeah, anyway, so my mom's like, "Oh, did you know?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I read it in the book, but also the book sets it up so much better than the Netflix series."
Mm-hmm.
That's by my mom Hal. But I'm not going to say that on here because I think people. The thing about the show also is that it takes all 8 books and it like starts weaving them in together because it's only one season, and I don't see them necessarily making a second season. They could, like, they leave it open enough that they could, but not open enough that I don't think Netflix is going to.
Yeah.
But like was it the 5th episode? I think the 5th episode is called The Duke and I, which is the name of the first book in the series.
Is that like a play on the King and I?
It could be. I never thought of that. I mean, to me, it's more like a Beauty and the Beast story.
Oh.
But the King, like, if you're going for content, but it could be based on that. But also, I think it's just like a historical romance trope thingy, where it's always like that type
it's always the Duke or the Prince or Mr. Darcy. That was my terrible.
Prince Marquess. You can tell I've read a lot of historical romance. I went through like a kick like in 2016 where I just read a bunch, and then like I haven't really touched the genre since. The Effington series, and I'm now forgetting the author, I liked better actually than the Bridgerton series. I'll say that. Currently reading Bridgerton. Cool.
Never.
Haven't seen it yet, but I heard the episode. I mean, episode 4 is just my favorite because to me, it has the most interesting type of drama. Like every episode is dramatic as hell, but like the drama that I'm like, yes, is episode 4 and 5.
I did not know that.
I did.
No.
I did. We do not speak of the movies.
Did we not learn our lesson with the movies? Like, did we not? I am still beyond.
But Disney Plus gave us The Mandalorian.
Yeah, okay, yes. Disney Plus did give us The Mandalorian. But that doesn't mean that the Percy Jackson's going to be any good. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. But I'm saying if any studio is going to do it, Disney Plus or Netflix, I'm like, I have more than zero hope.
I'm very protective of those books. And especially now with like those movies that are like out in the world, I'm like, no. You leave my babies alone. Do not touch. They're fine the way they are. They don't need anything else.
Well, Netflix was going to do Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then I think that fell through.
Oh,
thank the creators.
Thank God.
Well, the creators were going to be involved, but Netflix kept being like, no, you can't do what you want to do. So they left. And I'm like, well, don't continue without the creators' like blessing.
No. Oh my gosh. Oh, is he? If Rick Riordan is actually part of it, I feel like that's going to be a lot better because I don't think he was a part of the movies, which is why they turned out the way they did.
You know it's bad when people who haven't read the source material can recognize it's bad.
Yeah. I mean, and as like a Percy Jackson fan, like those movies just, they hurt. Like I remember coming out of the second movie. I don't know why I thought
the second one was worse than the first.
But I came out of the second movie and I just had, that feeling you get when you've watched a terrible movie and you just feel miserable afterwards.
And you want a shower to wash it off.
Yeah, you just feel gross and you're like, I paid $12.50 for that. It was a terrible adaptation. It was like
somehow the second was worse than the first.
It really was. And I'm like, why? I hope.
We're not saying you're wrong. It's just I don't remember that.
Yeah, I hope this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I hope that that's the case because I feel like then he would, have somewhat more of a say of how the story should go, not how, studio executives want it to go. So, freaking out. I don't know. Avatar is another one of those things that I'm really protective of, especially after.
I want them to do an animated version of Kyoshi. Like I know they're doing
Yeah.
novelizations of it,
Mhm.
and that's cool. But the way they animated Kyoshi was so amazing that I'm like, I want that to become an animated show.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I would be down for seeing a show about Kyoshi because she is pretty cool.
She's also the longest living avatar.
Mhm. I do have to admit, though, I might be the only one here, but I did not enjoy Korra after the first.
I didn't enjoy Korra.
I liked the first season because it was originally supposed to be just like a mini series, and it shows because there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they wrap it up
think they were
perfectly.
going to get renewed.
There's nothing else at the end of that. There's no other like threat or anything to continue the story, and then they're like, "Hey, 3 more seasons," and I'm like, "No."
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, good.
I'm looking at the time, and we're gonna start the third sprint, which is our second to last sprint. But we're gonna run over for the fourth sprint. I hope that's okay with everyone.
No, that's totally fine. I'm
So you don't have a date with your husband like right at 11 a.m.
No, I do not have a date with my husband right at 11. I mean, he's in the other room. He's probably this is about as close as we get. It was boring after the first season, and it's because they had completed the story that they originally had set out to tell.
Yeah.
And they didn't have anything else after that. And they were just sort of making it up as they went along, kind of like the Star Wars sequels. But I will admit, they are guilty pleasures and I do enjoy them. But I will also admit, they were not thought of at the same time.
I've read the preview for the first book. I haven't bought the first book because I want to listen to it in audio actually more than I want to physically read it, which is the first time that I've ever had that like instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And because audiobooks are so expensive, I was going to have it as my gift to myself if I won Nano.
Mm-hmm.
And that did not happen. So I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. An answer to, or I guess not an answer to, but kind of going off of Hannah's previous comment, Hannah, nothing's ever going to be good as Avatar. Avatar is the pinnacle, and nothing is ever going to surpass Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is just a purely amazing show. Nothing will ever top
it. Poor Courtney. Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Better or worse?
Yeah, it could have been. I still really enjoy it for what it is, though. I mean, that's kind of just the thing with Star Wars. You kind of just have to take it for what it is and enjoy it for what it is, even if it's completely goofy or campy or nonsensical. Like, I mean, you just kind of have to enjoy it for what it is. So that's what I do, and it's worked for me so far.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh, I just hit my desk. Oh, it did again. Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna start the next sprint in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. that was the end of the third sprint. How did everyone do? You're on mute.
Sorry, I was in the middle of cutting stuff, so I didn't want to like lose my place, and
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I
I
just
didn't
finished.
want you to start talking while you were muted.
No, you're fine. I just finished chapter 7, so I wanted to separate the other stuff and like have it and post it, put it down in the chapter 8 section. Did I say chapter 7?
Yeah.
Okay. I can count. More or less.
2 days ago, I was like, oh, I finished chapter 5. And then yesterday, I was like, nope, that was chapter 6. My stream. I don't know how much I wrote that time, actually. Because I haven't been counting each sprint. I've just been looking at my totals for the stream because this is done for the day so far. Because if I can do the math for every single sprint, it slows me down and makes it harder for me to like keep writing, I've learned.
Yeah.
But so far, I've written 859 words today. I need 54 more words to reach my word count goal for this chapter. And I need to write a total of 2,009 words to reach my daily goal.
Well,
to stay on track for my deadline.
That's crazy. I can tell you how much this chapter ended up being. Holy moly, a lot of this is getting deleted, so I can't go off of that. But chapter 7, I did not write this much, but chapter 7 ended up being 3,636 words overall.
Okay. I don't have any chapters that long in my book. In my current book, in the first book of this trilogy that I'm writing, and which is already published because I'm writing and releasing them in order, even though I told myself that was a bad idea, and I was like, no, I should write all of them and then publish them. The highest chapter word count for that book was 3,322. Nope, that's wrong. 3,393 was the highest. And my highest one right now for this current book so far is 3,114. There we go. I can read numbers, I think.
Yeah, that's actually the highest one I have right now, is that chapter. I don't know why that one ended up being so long. I guarantee you some of it's going to get deleted. But
if you have a lot of dialogue, that can count up, that can like add up quickly if you're not thinking about it.
It's actually surprisingly more description stuff, because if you're
describing things, there are lots of words in that.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of like, obviously because it's from Persephone's perspective, so there's a lot of like inner thoughts and stuff that I guess happen in this chapter. So that's just sort of added up.
Also, I'm sure she's, taken in the underworld. Although it's chapter 7, so maybe she's already taken in the underworld.
She's adjusting, let's say that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
she's getting used to the whole.
Getting the lay of the land.
Yeah.
Gio, I'm working on the second book of my new adult sci-fi romance trilogy. And Maddie is working on her Hades and Persephone retelling, and I made this graphic for her.
Yes, which is so lovely. You can show the other one too if you want, because the other one's really neat.
She's gonna have a companion novel / sequel thingy at some point about Hades and Persephone's daughter, and I made this graphic for that.
It is so cool. Look at that. It's awesome. I love it.
But she's not working on that today. She's working
on No. I need to finish the first one, but I am gonna probably start, plotting out the what's it called? The second one.
We're both currently in chapter 7, which is a coincidence. Leo finished a big chunk of the scene, concluded daily goal, and got sleep for class. Thank you so much for being here, Leo. Sorry we didn't get to the fourth sprint while you were still here, but thank you for being here. Yeah, I had a lot of fun making them.
They're so pretty. I love them. I love them so much. I'm gonna have them up when I'm writing especially the second one when I'm writing that, and just
Yeah.
yay!
Good job, Alice.
Yay, Alice!
The code is up on screen. The link is also in the chat. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say. I mean, I'm so close to finishing this chapter, but I went to sleep kind of late last night because I binge watched Bridgerton during the time I told myself I was going to write. So then I stayed up a little bit later than I have been to write, like until midnight, which I haven't done in a while because I've been going to sleep anywhere between 9 and 10, like for the past 4 days. Which is enough for my body to be like, oh, this is the new schedule. Like, okay. So I'm probably gonna nap after this stream and then continue writing.
That sounds like a good plan.
How are your kitties, Salem and Sitka?
Yes, they're both taking naps. Salem is actually really cute. I'll have to take a picture of it and send it to you, but she's sleeping with both of her paws out front and her chin's like right in between them. She looks so cute.
Oh, that's cute. When my dog does that, it's the cutest thing.
And Sika is asleep underneath our Christmas tree that we still haven't taken out yet.
That's cute.
So they're sleeping. They'll be active here in a few hours, but then, as cats do.
That's good about the research. Went and brought my cat in who was playing in the backyard. Oh, that's cute.
Aww. Everyone snuggle your fur babies.
I mean, I would, but I think she'd resent me right now. So, because she's napping on the couch in the living room, and if I moved her, she'd be like, "Why did you move me? I was perfectly fine." My dog acts a lot like a cat. So,
it's so funny when dogs do that.
Okay, we're gonna start the next sprint now.
Yay!
And we'll do a wrap up at the end. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. that was the end of the final sprint. How did people do?
Meh.
I finished my chapter.
Yeah.
Passed the 1,000 word like low ball goal for the day. And I need to reach 2,000 words. And if I reach 2,000 words, I might try for a stretch goal of 3,000 words to be like a little bit ahead of schedule. But I don't know. 3,000 is a lot for some reason. Like every single time I'm like, oh, like I've done 2,000. Why can't I do 3? And it's like I do 3 and then like I'm out for a week of like just doing 500 or 600 word days. So Ninka had to leave in the middle of that sprint, but did 1,000 words for the stream. I've done 1,136 for the whole stream, which is great. Silver Ashley's cat is secretly a dog and is now sliding around on the wooden floors. And I said that's the opposite of my dog, who's secretly a cat. So my brother's roommate has a dog that acts exactly like a cat, sleeps all day, is very quiet, and just wants to cuddle. I mean, my dog doesn't want to always cuddle either. I mean, she loves to cuddle, but like if you want to cuddle and she doesn't, she's like, nope, don't touch. The same way like cats are.
Mine do that all the time.
Yeah. So Silver was saying he got the dog cat and I got the cat dog. That's awesome. Yay. I heard that. Made progress storyboarding. Awesome. 349. Did a whole lot of brainstorming. Got 2K for the whole stream.
Wow.
Your numbers were high. Congratulations.
Holy moly.
It's 11/11. Make a wish, everyone. I normally don't call it out, but it's my grandfather's birthday. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do all the special things. Those are all the comments that I'm seeing. So let's start wrapping up. Maddie, do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Sure. You all can find me if you are interested in seeing more of this. You all can find me on my AuthorTube channel here on YouTube. I don't know where else it would be if it wasn't here. But you can find me over there. You can also find me on Instagram. You can actually now also find me on Goodreads. And you can find me on Twitter, but I am not on Twitter very much. So I would not recommend following me there. But I am very active on Instagram and YouTube. So definitely that is where you will most likely find me. Yes.
Her YouTube channel is linked down below. So you can find her on other platforms through there. And for just again, my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm a self-published author of young adult paranormal romance and new adult sci-fi romance. I make videos about writing, musical theater, and I host writing sprints every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. And starting next week, I will also be hosting them at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Zara Hoffman. So hope you had fun at today's sprint, and I will see you all next time.